Hello YouTube land. Bizarre. Okay, I've just come back from work and I was really pleased by the responses that I got to the careers video, because I didn't expect everyone to be so positive or even interested in it, and that made me feel, that okay, well, I could continue on with the series because it's something that's quite important. I mean, on the internet we do get a bit carried away with, certain things like fashion. Oh my god, I can spend all day on fashion blogs and just stuff like that, but then to a certain extent we don't really talk about other perspective, other things. So it was nice to kind of bring that into the sphere and have it easily or positively received. On Tuesday, I believe, I went up to Manchester to talk to some kids about law. These kids were those who are stereotypically from disadvantaged backgrounds, and it was such a positive and great experience because I was mentored growing up, and it's nice to be able to pass the baton, for example. And the best part of the whole day was when their principal and some of the kids came over and they were like, oh, it was really nice that you guys came to talk to us, and yeah, we think we could actually consider law now. I mean, before I wanted to be a hairdresser. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a hairdresser or being a nursery nurse or all of these things. I mean, if you're going to be in this field, try and do and be the best that you can. But as their principal said, when you come from certain communities, people don't really expect you to aim high per se. They expect you to be, I don't know, for example, the local hairdresser, as opposed to one of those big hairdressers who style celebrities, who have their own hair product ranges in the salons and who sell in big department stores. If I was going to be a hairdresser, that's the kind of hairdresser I'd want to be. So I just thought it was nice and it was positive to hear like Year 9 students be receptive to it. And it was also nice to get people on YouTube leave nice comments and say that they were very interested in what I had to say. So I'm going to briefly talk about my sixth form experience and my university experience. There's not that much to say about sixth form, but other than the fact that the most important decision I made at sixth form was picking my universities. So I knew that I didn't want to go to Oxford or Cambridge. I mean, they are amazing universities, but I remember at one point I was really carried away. I wanted to go to a party university because, I don't know, I mean, from being contained in a house all the time, not that I was like caged in or anything, I just kind of wanted to expand and just see new things, and I felt like Oxford was too close to London. I'd be checked on by my parents, so I decided to get as far away as I could, but also to a really good university. So one tip I'll have in that respect is to make sure you look at the league tables and also try and visit the universities if you can. I remember going up to Manchester, just said where I went to university, but going up to Manchester with my cousin and thinking, oh my god, this looks like so much fun. It's such a great student university. And there's loads of other universities like that that are really good for what they do and are also like good socially. So that's one thing I picked up at university, at sixth form. And also, this is where talking to like tutors and lecturers or whatever comes into play. It's nice to have a good relationship with these people because they can guide you. I remember being bored in sixth form. I was just like, oh my god, I've learned all these things in Nigeria, because that's where I went to secondary school. So I was born in England, went back to Nigeria, and it was just coming back to England and having to relearn the things that I'd already learned was a bit annoying. So I didn't pay a lot of attention in school. I got the grades, but I'd spend like half of my day in Oxford Street shopping. But I still had a good relationship with my tutors and they understood this. So I remember when I made the decision to actually go into law was after talking to this really amazing economics teacher. I can't remember her name now, but she just sat me down and was like, okay, here's some options for you that I think would be good for you. And she was right. But going on to university, which is the best part of literally the best part of my life so far. I had an amazing time. I made great friends. One of them, YouTube superstar Patricia, Britpop princess. Quite a few of my friends, like my best friends, I made from university. I had a great time. One of the questions I had was balancing working while studying. I mean, if I had my way, I wouldn't have worked while I was at university, but it served two, well, it had more than two advantages. First of all, it was a good way to get extra change, which meant that I didn't take on a lot of student loan. Also, it was good because I got loads of free clothes, like I mentioned, because I worked in stores like Topshop and so on. And then also, it was great for work experience for my applications because I was able to demonstrate communication skills. I was able to demonstrate the fact that I could work with people. I had good interpersonal skills because I knew what it was like to be in a working environment. And also at university, I think, again, it's good to have a good relationship with your lecturers, because one of my first proper legal work experience was with my insurance lecturer in his law firm. I mean, I worked there for about 2 days. I followed him around, you know, it was on the internet, but then I still learned something. And that was fabulous because he also paid me. So also socially, I was a party animal at university. I remember third year I was burnt out. But despite this, I think it's very, very, very important to be able to go to your lectures, you know, and try and make sure that you're not behind. And I think the key to this is surrounding yourself with people who are not jobless. When I say jobless, I mean people who have no motivation for being at university, who just want to go to university to party, and who have no future ambition. Those are not the kind of people that you want to be hanging around with. You want to hang out with fun people, but people who will also keep you in check. So that was my life at university. Also, a main tip that I will have for any career that you want to go into is to attend law fairs or careers fairs as a whole. So not just the law ones, just all of them. Because you have loads of companies coming to present to you. And it's good for you to go and just discuss with the graduate recruiters as to what they need and how you can meet those needs. So I remember in my first year, if I hadn't been to the law fair, I wouldn't have known that I needed to be applying for internships in my second year or my third year, or applying, you know, I wouldn't have known all these things if I hadn't gone to those fairs. And they can be quite fun as well, because sometimes the law firms come over and the banks and stuff, and they take you out to nice dinners, and then, yeah, you just chat to all of them, and you see, you know, you get to see the people behind the big corporations or even the smaller corporations. You just get to get a feel as to whether you like working for these people or not. So, also, I think I've already talked about societies, but people who are hiring, so employers want to see staff members who are well-rounded. So they don't just want, like, you know, stoic, straight A, no life type of people. They want people who will be able to, you know, get down when it's time to go to the club for the team parties, for example, which is what we did last week, which was amazing. I lost my phone, but it was a really good time. But my point is, try and get into societies and stuff. So you could go to, again, I can only talk from a legal perspective, but you could join societies like the Pro Bono Society, or even sports societies like the sailing, the rowing. I was a cheerleader for a bit until it got cold. I don't deal with cold very well. I was in Manchester. I was like, yeah, bye. And then I was also part of the trampolining team. Again, that didn't last very long, but it was a good way to meet people, and also for my application forms, it just showed that I had varied interests. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend. I hope you guys like this. Again, my next video will be exactly how I got down to sitting myself down somewhere and getting those application forms done, my tips, organizations that can help you, and stuff like that. So thank you for watching. Bye. Whatever you choose to do, you should choose to do something that you really enjoy, and that's the only way that you can guarantee that you would do well and you have the motivation to push yourself to be the best that you can actually be. So going back to sixth form, I remember I picked philosophy for some reason, and I went to the class and I just thought, this is not really my thing. And I left that, I dropped it after like 2 classes. I also did geography for a while. Probably should have stuck that one out because my geography was really bad. Still is really bad. But the point is, I went on to later do English literature because I like reading. I did economics and business because for obvious reasons I like those things. And then I also did sociology and psychology. Sociology and psychology were very interesting because it taught me a different way of looking at things, and I had an amazing tutor. So that was a good way of getting involved, and it pushed me to work hard to get the grades that I needed to get to university. Same train of thought carried me through to university. So the modules that I picked when we had a choice were all related to things that I'd enjoy. And same thing goes for some of my friends. So like I think I mentioned in my last video that I had a friend who did a law module, but she also did stuff like family law and war and warfare because she's really interested in those things. And that's the only way that you can guarantee a good grade, or you can guarantee that you will push yourself to do well. If you don't really like something and you're having pressure from, I don't know, family or friends, it's going to be really hard for you to stick to it. So that's one recommendation that I have, and I hope that it helps someone in some way. So whatever career you go into, whatever application forms you're doing, it's good for you to have a genuine interest in it. I mean, you might not be passionate at the outset, but you can only convey that the more involved you are in that subject. So at interviews, if you can't convince someone that, okay, well, I am actually interested in this field of work or this industry, you're not going to get the job. And oh, final thing, if anyone tells you that first year doesn't count at university, they are liars. Just know that they don't know what they are talking about, because it certainly counts. So for example, if you're applying for internships for banking, consulting firms, I know this because I worked in a consulting firm before as well, they look at your first year grades. In fact, they look at your grades from GCSEs. So again, it's good for you to try and work hard, you know, not trying to sound like an old fogey, my God. But yeah, all these things, I kind of wish sometimes that people had like hammered home the point. But thankfully, it all turned out well, and hopefully it will turn out well for everyone too. So see you guys in my next video. Bye.